Thank you for joining us here today. I'm so happy that there's so many of you this morning. It's an important session. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Joan Cosby, one of 14 Canadian plan giving consultants with the Donor Motivation Program. And I work with donors and charities in the Golden Horseshoe area. And for those outside of Ontario, that encompasses Niagara Falls to the western tip of Lake Ontario. And I'm here today with Laurie Fox, Director of CAGP's National Legacy Campaign. Good morning, Laurie.
Hi, Joan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm really quite excited. How about you?
I'm pretty excited to get started on that wine.
Aha, yes. So first things first here. So we do want to get to the important stuff right away. And that's our drink of the day. And Laurie, could we start with yours, please?
Yes. So I like to call my drink the Mom. And my drink has a kid's toy and some dog hair on the side. Joan, what are you drinking?
That sounds wonderful. I'm actually a person who has three favorite drinks. First is water, then is coffee, and then is wine. Now I can actually remember my first glass of wine. It was Baby Duck. I don't know if anybody else remembers that. That's from a long time ago in the 70s. And actually, I have learned that Baby Duck falls under the Andrew Peller family of wines. The Peller family is one of Canada's most prolific wine families with vineyards in BC, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. And today I have one of the earliest award winners from that family. It's Trius. It's a red, and it's a blend of three varietals. It's Cab Franc, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. And it's been recognized frequently over the past 29 years as an outstanding wine. And the best part is I can pick up this award-winning wine at the grocery store, along with a pre-made meal, and put that together with a couple of friends, an instant night out. It's a winning combination every time. So let's see here.
Joan, are you going to drink that whole bottle?
I don't know. Let's see how it goes here. If I can get this open, I think I might need one more turn here. There we go.
I like this idea of starting the Thursday off with a drink.
That's right.
Hope the rest of the day will go well.
So here we go. This should help get me through this next half hour.
Oh my gosh, Joan. Keep pouring.
There, the bottle is half gone, so maybe I'll only have one glass today.
Okay.
So good morning, everyone. As usual, it's a winner. There we go. So today we're actually here to talk about willpower. And we at our local CAGP chapter were fortunate enough to be the home of the site of the launch of the program in Canada. And it's Laurie Fox who has championed willpower in our area. And of course, she's going to be doing it across Canada. So I'd like Laurie to introduce willpower to you. And maybe, Laurie, you can talk to us a little bit about how it was created and how it got started. That's an interesting story. Mm-hmm. And your involvement in that whole process.
For sure. Well, it got started about 3 years ago. It was myself and a bunch of my colleagues who saw the need. We all, kind of had a foot in plan giving ourselves. So we were either legacy fundraisers, marketers, financial planners working on estate plans, and lawyers doing the same. It was a small group of us. And, we saw the power of the ordinary person being able to make these extraordinary gifts by simply leaving a small portion of their estate to charity, these 5-6-figure gifts. And we knew that there was a need. So, I mean, this is not news to you, Joan, or anybody else on the call, but the charitable sector was in trouble before COVID. Imagine Canada had written about the social deficit, that we're all in for a social deficit by 2026, because there's an increasing need for charity services with, aging populations, environmental crises, divide between rich and poor, but charities' revenues weren't keeping pace to meet this demand. And we saw this incredible opportunity. And the way I visualize it is just turning on the tap. If we simply could get more Canadians aware that they can give in this way, it really is turning on the funding gap. And we saw that our colleagues in the UK and 20 other countries around the world that were doing these kind of campaigns were having fantastic success. So it was just a matter of bringing it here to Canada. So we kind of put, some ideas of what we wanted to do together. We brought it to CAGP. And 3 years later, here we are. We've completed the pilot, and we're getting ready to launch nationally next year.
Aha! I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, so that might be the first time that many people on the call are hearing about this. I think when we had announced the campaign to the sector last year, we were talking about rolling out over 3 years. But we saw such demand from charities across the country for this campaign. We know that the time is now, so we thought, to heck with it, we're gonna go across country next year in 2021. So that's the big news.
That's terrific.
Mm-hmm. And Joan, like, a lot of this stuff isn't new to you either. You've been working with individuals, these ordinary Canadians we talk about, retired teachers, retired nurses who are giving in this unique but big, impactful way. I would love to hear it. You were telling me a little bit about your experience, so I'd love, for the group to hear about what it is that you do.
Well, yes, I'm a plan giving consultant with the Donor Motivation Program, but my day job is I'm a financial advisor, and I help people align their wealth to what matters most to them. And for a lot of people, it's the impact that they can have on people long after they're gone. And I shouldn't just say people, because I have some very generous clients who also want to protect nature. And that's important too for all of us. Now, and I got started in the Willpower campaign. I think it was about 16 months ago or so, Laurie, when I met you. I was invited by somebody on our CAGP board, on our local board, to join a focus group on the Willpower campaign. Mm-hmm. And there were a number of us sitting around the boardroom table at Hamilton Health Sciences. Yeah. And you introduced the concept, and my mind started racing, and I got excited. And the more and more I learned about it, the more excited I got. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was perfect. No need to reinvent the wheel. We're using something that's proven effective in many countries across the world. And it's, already been tweaked for the Canadian audience. So it was just wonderful. Mm-hmm. And what an easy way to get started. And I've always been a supporter of Leave a Legacy. Mm-hmm. So it's always been important to me. And I've always promoted that on an annual basis. But this it's bigger and it's broader than what Leave a Legacy campaign is.
That's right. So those of you on the call who aren't familiar with Leave a Legacy, it's a program by CAGP done at the local level, encouraging Canadians to leave a gift in a will. And this is really, Willpower is Leave a Legacy 2.0. It's taking the campaign, making it bigger and broader, and having that big impact.
Yeah. And it's working.
It's working.
And what's nice for me, and why I get excited about the whole process, is because I know the impact that a legacy can have, a legacy gift can have on especially a smaller charity. It could be life-changing for that charity. But just as important as it is for the charity, it's life changing for the donor. The joy they get from making such a difference in this world, leaving their mark behind, it's indescribable. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And with, I guess about 15 years of background in the not-for-profit and charitable sector, I've been in the position, as many of you have been, that where you've had to say no because there wasn't enough money to do what needed to be done. And sometimes we are talking about people's lives. And I know there's many of you out there who know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all in. So we had our launch,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm excited about it. But Laurie, what do you think? How do you think it went?
In short, it kicked butt. It did really, really well. So the idea is that we wanted to test this campaign in a small area, so small part of southwestern Ontario before we launched it across the country. First time out of the gate, we didn't really know what to expect, right? We had our goals. We knew that we wanted to increase awareness, move people to action by a certain amount, but the campaign ended up exceeding expectations. So we started by measuring the impact of our advertising on people and their ability to change minds and take action. So I don't know how many of you have seen the Willpower ads, but they're really addressing that either or barrier. So our research, and I see that someone's posted it, I think, in the chat here. Our research with Environics this past summer showed that the biggest barrier by far for people when it came to considering a gift in their will was the idea that they can't do both. They can't support their family and a charity in their will. So we're really trying to get over that barrier. And it's proven that once you get over that barrier, you can move people along. So the Willpower ads, I encourage you to go on the CAGP Willpower site so you can kind of take a look. But they're meant to get people over that barrier. Anyways, so the pilot, the test. So we tested out these ads, and we showed that 20% of people who went in not interested changed their minds just by seeing the ads alone, which is amazing. So now they are interested simply because of one ad. And then 83% of those who were interested are now more likely to take action. So the ads tested through the roof. They did really well. And so though in the pilot, our job was really just getting this message out there in a big way because we knew the message worked. So in a short 6 months, short 6 weeks, in a small area, we got something like 18 million impressions. So people seeing the ad and seeing it again, 47,000 people clicking through to the Willpower website. And again, I encourage you guys to take a look at the Willpower website, willpower.ca, because it's this one-stop shop bequest for people, moving from beginning to end. So we got 47,000 people going to our website, and what's amazing is that they were coming back on their own accord. So almost 1/3 of people would come back because it was a useful tool for them to move on their journey. And then close to 500 people in 6 weeks were taking action, meaning that filling out the legacy calculator, contacting an advisor, adding a charity to their list, for example. So, I mean, it's not to say that there's some lessons that we didn't learn in the campaign, things we need to tweak for next year, but the pilot really worked. We know that we've got something here. So it's just a matter of tweaking and then building it out nationally.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't believe when you told me that 1,600 people read my article on how naming a charity on your RSP or your RIFs or your TFSAs can help a charity and the impact that it can have. So 1,600 people. So it shows that individuals are looking and exploring different ways to give without feeling pressured about a gift. So it gives them the control over what they want to learn about, and it prepares them to have that deeper conversation. So
what's interesting, Joan? One of the things we learned in the campaign, so one of our learning lessons, for example, is that you can't ask people to take these huge commitments. You really need to break down commitments into smaller incremental nudges that build up to a big commitment. So for example, reading an article, adding a charity to your list, other different, nudges that move people towards making that big commitment of, looking into their estate plan, rewriting or writing their will. It's really important in the charitable sector, not just in this campaign, that we recognize that, because to date, what I'm seeing is that a lot of us are, sending out will kits, encouraging people to write their will, but we really need to build up to that with some small action.
Yeah, that's part of the job that I love too, because I love moving that, that $1,000 a year gift or that $100 monthly donation into a $2 million bequest in their will. So something like that doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes it takes, 5 or 10 years, but it really happens. And it's just so much fun to do.
And you probably find, Joan, that you have to speak to people a few times, give them different things to explore before they go ahead and do the deed, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's 20 times that you're talking to them. It's literally once or twice a year that you're connecting and having conversations and reviewing it again. But I just want to give people out there my perspective as someone outside of Willpower on how the campaign launch went. So Laurie, I thought you did a terrific job as someone who is not, well versed in marketing and advertising. It was a great rollout. We had excellent support, and for charities that don't have a strong plan giving or development program, it's perfect for them because they can get everything they need from CAGP to make it work for them. And it's also great for allied professionals, for lawyers and accountants and advisors, because often too, they don't have that expertise in marketing. So it's wonderful. And the branding, you're absolutely right. Those images are so impactful. Mm-hmm. They just move you just to look deeper into what it's all about. And as we talked about, the website's really user friendly, so people can go and revisit frequently and learn as their capacity for learning demands. So it's been great.
I'm glad to hear that, Joan. I hadn't actually heard that from you before, so that's wonderful.
So it's good.
And maybe we should talk a little bit. I don't think I kind of have talked about how charities and advisors are part of the campaign, actually. So we had 80 or more than 80, I think, founding partners in this pilot campaign. You being one of the advisors, Joan. About 65 charities and 15 advisors, both financial advisors and lawyers. And the way that partners participate in the campaign is kind of twofold. So one, you're on the website where we're driving people and where we're moving them along to action. So, for our charities, for example, we're the third most popular page on our website. We got over 10,000 people visiting our charities in 6 weeks. So people are seeing charities as they're exploring the process and moving along to leaving a gift in their will. And people are taking action with the charity pages on the website too. So for the most part, they're adding the charity to their list and clicking through to the online intention form that they're generally sending to themselves. But, we hope in a couple of, as they move down the line, we'll send to lawyers. And then the second way that charities and advisors participate in a campaign, the advisors are also featured on the website with their page, for example, and we see people clicking through to the advisors for more information. But the second part that partners participate in the campaign is this marketing toolkit that we provide you. So, Joan, you had the marketing toolkit as well. And the marketing toolkit provides you with the Willpower ads that you can co-brand on, the ability to make your own Willpower ad, template communication, so email and Facebook posts. We're going to have video next year, key messaging, all of these things so that you can speak to your own donors and clients about gifts and wills and estate giving in this kind of, Joan, you pointed it out earlier, in this third-party neutral way. And we're seeing a lot of success with our charity partners and advisor partners who have used this as well. So people sending it out and getting like 3,000 visits to their page, 70 people taking action. I mean, this is kind of at the top end, but on average, people are doing really well in the campaign when using the kit.
So what size of charities are involved with Willpower? Is it the big ones, or who's taking the most advantage of this?
It's across the board, interestingly enough. We've got, 70% of our partners, our charity partners, are small to mid-sized charities, and about 30% large charities. We find that the smaller charities, this is kind of their first times, they know they want to get their legacy giving program started up. And this is a great, way to get it started up. It's plan giving in a box, in a way, to get you started. And then our larger charities are using this, interspersing it with their existing plan giving activities, to speak to their donors in this new way, and as a tool. A lot of our large charities frame this as a tool, a free tool for their donors to move them along. And then our advisors, I'm finding, are using this as a way to prompt the conversation with their clients, as cover, for example, to speak to their clients about estate planning and philanthropic giving within their estate plan. And Joan, you did something really cool, right? So you did something very unique this past year, where you sponsored 3 charities that you care about to participate in a campaign. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I can. So, yeah, I am very passionate about children's mental health. And it comes because I guess between the ages of 10 and 15 or so, I was pretty messed up. We had a lot of death in our immediate family and our extended family. And then my mom was really sick for a long time. And it probably took me well into my adulthood to get through that. So supporting children's mental health is very important to me, because I think if I had help earlier, I would have been happier throughout different periods in my life. So that's why I decided to sponsor these 3 charities. And people have the misconception that children's mental health services are fully funded by the government, and that's not the case. So many people are slipping through the cracks. Unless there's a significant problem, often they don't get help. And unfortunately, a lot of those kids who everyone, was confident that they were doing well, they never make it to adulthood. And it's just sad, so sad when that happens. And that could have been me. And I'm so happy it's not. And I'm going to do everything I can to help people to get to my joyous part of life. And because I've had the opportunity to get some significant gifts for some smaller charities, I know that it just changes the whole atmosphere in the charity. They are now in a sustainable position where they can do more for more people and look at their program with a 10-year time horizon without worrying about if they have to shut their doors. So that's, really important to me. And they've all done well with it. One charity in particular, they were planning on starting a plan giving initiative in the next couple of years, and this kind of just accelerated the process for them. But they're doing amazingly well. And right now, with their permission, we put together a Facebook campaign linked to their Willpower pages, to help people think about children this Christmas.
Yeah. Joan, thanks so much for sharing that, for your experience. And just so commendable that you're, I don't know how to put this a different way, but putting your money where your mouth is, right? Like, you really are championing the causes and finding unique ways to do that. So thank you.
Well, I'm going to say everybody at Donor Motivation Program, we're a little fanatical about giving back. So it's good. So Laurie, you touched upon the idea that we're going to see this roll out in a significant way next year. Do you want to spend like a minute or so telling us what we can expect for those people who don't know yet?
Yes. Okay. So we'll be doing a big announcement in January, like we did last year, for those of you who are on the call, announcing the national campaign next year, rolling out in communities across the country, and a follow-up webinar to talk about the details of what the campaign will look like next year. I know a lot of you have, we've got, I think 400 charities signed up to our waiting list at this point. So Serena
Wow.
posted early, yeah. Serena posted earlier the link to our CAGP Willpower page, where you can sign up to the waiting list so that you'll be notified when we do our announcement, and you can sign up next year or get for more information. And if anybody's interested in hearing the details before then, of course, you can get in touch. But yeah, look out for more information on the campaign rollout next year. And we're actually doing a debrief report that we'll be posting on that page as well. So a bit more details on how this pilot campaign went. But anyways, January is the big date for the rollout.
Yeah, I'm excited about your meeting this afternoon for the debrief session, so I can learn even more. So it's wonderful. So Laurie, thank you for your time today. I just want to share with everyone that our next Campfire chat is Thursday, December 17th. Now the time is yet to be confirmed for that. And the host for that session will be Jay Stark, and he is our donor motivation consultant from Saskatoon. And Jay will be joined by Tracy Boyle, who is the Director of Development at the Saskatoon City Hospital Foundation. Now, for those of you who know Jay, you know you're in for a good time. I can't even say his name without smiling. But for those of you who don't know Jay, this next session with Tracy will be a real treat. So thank you so much, Laurie, for taking the time from your busy day today. Your schedule is full. But this is an important message to share the Willpower message.
Thanks for having me, Joan.
Oh, I'm so happy. Yes. Now I can. There we go. And for everyone out there, thank you for stopping by to learn a little bit more about Willpower. And on behalf of the CAGP and Donor Motivation Canada, we want you all to stay safe and have a very Merry Christmas. So do you have any well wishes you'd like to send, Laurie?
Yeah, happy holidays to everyone. I hope everyone gets a break. It's been a busy, stressful year for everyone. Everyone just take a rest.
It certainly has been. Now, Laurie, here's to you. Toast.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.